Hello everyone, I am Karev Agarwal, and today we will be looking at things coming up to the election for today's date, 10/12/2020. As many of you know, the 2020 presidential election is a very crucial election regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, economics, or the Supreme Court. Today we will be looking at the key events leading up to the election. Our first topic today is New York Times article, Terror Plan to Kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer over Michigan's swing state and how that could affect the election. This all started out when 13 members of a militia group tried to kidnap the governor of Michigan in the state capitol. These men were captured by the FBI, and when Governor Whitmer came out and said in his speech, she criticized President Donald Trump's actions for not condemning white supremacism in the 9/29 presidential debate. In this next clip, we're going to look at a BBC video of Governor Whitmer criticizing President Trump.
Just last week, the President of the United States stood before the American people and refused to condemn white supremacists and hate groups like these two Michigan militia groups. Stand back and stand by, he told them. Stand back and stand by.
Although the president did condemn white supremacism later, he did not initially say it in the debate, which is what the liberal governor said and many other Democrats around the nation. So, these events could change how the election can turn out. In 2016, President Trump won the state over Hillary Clinton, but due to these recent events, in other swing states like Ohio and Pennsylvania, Biden might have a chance. Let's move on to our next topic about Pennsylvania voters. Since the 2016 election, Republicans in Pennsylvania have shrunk a Democratic advantage by around 200,000 votes, which could affect the Democratic voters in big cities like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, while they have to combat these rural counties and towns that usually tend to lean towards Trump. In the 2016 election, President Trump won Pennsylvania by under 45,000 votes, making it one of the closest elections in Pennsylvania, leaving us to know that majority of Pennsylvania's Democratic voters are in the high-class working majority in bigger cities like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, while, again, in the rural counties, they tend to lean more Republican. Pennsylvania's result might be like how it is in 2016. Either candidate could barely edge out and could decide the fate of the election by this date. Now we will be moving on to Biden and Senator Harris's plan for when they are elected as the President and Vice President of the United States. During the Democratic primaries just a year and half a year ago, both former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris argued for a lot of facts, and they went against each other in a lot of the problems that they could go against Donald Trump. But as we know, Joe Biden picked Senator Kamala Harris as his Vice President nomination. One of four plans that both Biden and Harris disagreed about are pretty crucial if they are elected to be the President and Vice President. One of them was packing the Supreme Court. In this next clip, we're going to be looking at the vice presidential debate about Mike Pence targeting Senator Kamala Harris about packing the Supreme Court. But she never answered the question clearly.
Are you and Joe Biden going to pack the court if Judge Amy Coney Barrett is confirmed? Rules. Now, you've refused to answer the question. Joe Biden has refused to answer the question. So I think the American people would really like to know, if Judge Amy Coney Barrett is confirmed to the Supreme Court of the United States, are you and Joe Biden, if somehow you win this election, going to pack the Supreme Court to get your way?
I'm so glad we went through a little history lesson.
As you just saw, Senator Kamala Harris did not clearly answer Vice President Mike Pence's question. Both Senator Kamala Harris and former Vice President Joe Biden disagree on whether packing the Supreme Court if Judge Amy Coney Barrett is nominated. Both of them disagree on whether it should be legal or not, and both candidates, as said, have been reluctant to answer the question. Next, we're going to the Green New Deal. To first understand their disagreements about the Green New Deal, we have to first know what it is. So the Green New Deal is a proposal to combat climate change that transitions the federal government from using fossil fuels and other gas emissions. Citizens want the Green New Deal so that it helps more clean energy industries. But again, both candidates are vague about their perceptions about the Green New Deal. Senator Kamala Harris wants to introduce the Green New Deal and have it be required in the United States. Well, Joe Biden has a different approach to it. And these are some of the plans that will be discussed if the Biden administration is elected in 2020. Our third part is fracking. Fracking is basically to get oil and digging deep into the earth and getting oil to cause many earthquakes and climate change activities. A lot of people oppose this, like Senator Kamala Harris. But does Joe Biden necessarily agree? Senator Kamala Harris, again, wants to ban fracking completely, but Joe Biden does not want to do it to that level of extent. Joe Biden only wants to do it on federal lands. President Donald Trump falsely claims that Biden wants to ban it completely and has made a big mistake because, again, these are one of the big issues that both Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are disputed about. The last part of the Biden administration plan is taxes. President Donald Trump continues to portray Biden as he wants to raise taxes. The truth is, Biden wants to raise taxes for richer people, but again, said in both the presidential and vice presidential debate, both Democratic candidates said that they won't raise taxes for citizens that make under $400,000 a year. That doesn't mean that they don't disagree on anything. Harris said that when Biden would be elected, he would repeal the Trump tax bill immediately, which would increase middle-class tax increase. Biden proposes to partially repeal it, but roll back tax cuts for higher earners. While Biden does not want to increase tax for people who make under $400,000 a year, but increase the corporate tax rate for people who make above that amount from 28% to 21%. Thank you for listening, and hopefully you walk away with a bigger understanding to the current events that are happening now in American politics.